Have you ever wondered why so many of us suffer more than we need to? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-king of Rome, believed that most of our pain is not caused by the world itself, but by the way we think about it. Imagine a man who sat at the very pinnacle of the known world, a man who commanded legions and held the power of life and death over millions, yet he spent his quietest hours writing to himself about the fragility of fame and the necessity of a calm mind. He didn't write these things for us or for a grand audience, but as a survival manual for his own soul, while he sat in a tent on the edge of a cold, dark frontier. He lived through plagues, betrayals, and the constant weight of an empire that was beginning to crack, yet he remained centered. This is the essence of why his wisdom feels so urgent today. Because even though our technology has changed and our cities have grown, the human heart remains exactly as it was 2,000 years ago. We still wake up with the same anxieties, the same fears of what others think of us, and the same tendency to create monsters out of shadows. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that the primary source of our misery is our refusal to accept reality as it is. We spend our lives fighting against the weather, the traffic, the opinions of strangers, and the inevitable passage of time, as if our frustration could somehow bend the universe to our will. But the universe is indifferent to our complaints. When Marcus looked out over the Danube River, he saw the flow of water as a metaphor for time itself, a constant, rushing stream that carries everything away. He realized that to fight this flow is to ensure your own suffering. Most of the things that keep us up at night are things we cannot control, and yet we give them the power to ruin our peace. He would tell us that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This isn't just a nice thought, it is a radical shift in how we perceive existence. It means that you are the architect of your own emotional landscape. Think about the last time someone was rude to you. Maybe it was a coworker or a driver on the road. In that moment, your blood pressure rose, your jaw tightened, and you perhaps spent the next hour rehearsing a scathing comeback in your head. You suffered. But why? The words were just vibrations in the air, and the person was just a fleeting character in the story of your day. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. By allowing their rudeness to dictate your mood, you are handing them the keys to your internal kingdom. You are choosing to suffer because you expected the world to be something other than what it is. He famously wrote that when you wake up in the morning, you should tell yourself that the people you deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He wasn't being a pessimist, he was being a realist. By expecting people to be flawed, he removed their power to surprise or hurt him. He understood that they act this way because they are in the dark about what is truly good and evil.
We often suffer because we are addicted to the if-only trap. If only I had more money. If only I were in a different relationship. If only people respected me more, then I would be happy. This is a mirage that recedes as you approach it. Marcus, who had everything, wealth, status, power, knew firsthand that these things do not provide a sanctuary. He saw that the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. He practiced what the Stoics called premeditation malorum, or the premeditation of evils. He would visualize the loss of his possessions, his health, and even his loved ones, not to be morbid, but to realize that he was currently enjoying them as a gift, not a permanent right. This turns our suffering into gratitude. Instead of lamenting what we lack, we begin to marvel at what we still have. Most of our anxiety is born from our attachment to things that were never ours to keep in the first place. Consider the nature of fame and social validation, which is perhaps the greatest source of unnecessary suffering in our modern age. We live for the like, the follow, and the approval of people we don't even know. Marcus Aurelius looked at the statues of emperors who came before him and realized they were all forgotten, their names reduced to dust and their deeds a fading memory. He asked himself why he should care about the praise of people who would be dead in a few years, given by people who would also be dead shortly after. He compared the desire for fame to a child reaching for a bird in flight. It is a pursuit of something that can never be caught and held. When we stop caring about the applause of the gallery, we find a profound freedom. We begin to act for the sake of the action itself, for the sake of virtue and character, rather than for the reflection of ourselves in the eyes of others. The weight of the past and the fear of the future are the two thieves that rob us of the only thing we actually possess, the present moment. Marcus constantly pulled his focus back to the now. He believed that each of us lives only in the present, this brief point in time. The rest is either already past or is uncertain. By obsessing over a mistake we made 5 years ago, or worrying about a crisis that might happen 5 years from now, we are abandoning our post. We are suffering in an imaginary world, while the real world passes us by. He would tell us to confine ourselves to the present. If you can handle this breath, this heartbeat, this specific task in front of you, then you can handle anything. The mountain of life is only climbed one step at a time, but we often trip because we are looking at the peak instead of where we are placing our feet.
There is a quiet strength in realizing that nothing can touch the core of who you are unless you allow it. Marcus called this the inner citadel. It is a fortress within the mind that no army can conquer and no plague can infect. Within this citadel, you have the power to judge what is happening to you. You can look at a setback and choose to call it an opportunity for growth. You can look at a loss and choose to call it a lesson in resilience. This is why Stoicism is not about being emotionless or robotic. It is about being bulletproof. It is about feeling the initial sting of pain, but refusing to let it turn into a long-term wound of suffering. Marcus Aurelius was a man of deep feeling. He wept for his children, and he felt the burden of his office, but he never let those feelings overthrow his reason. He knew that reason was the compass that would lead him through the storm. Much of our suffering also comes from our desire to control the uncontrollable. We want the world to be fair, we want people to be kind, and we want life to be easy. But the world is often unfair, people are often unkind, and life is rarely easy. Marcus Aurelius suggests that instead of trying to change the world to fit our desires, we should change our desires to fit the world. This is the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate. It is the idea of not just accepting what happens, but embracing it as the very thing that was meant for you. If you are faced with a difficulty, that difficulty is the fuel for your fire. Just as a fire consumes everything you throw into it to grow brighter and stronger, a Stoic mind uses obstacles to sharpen its virtue. This shift from "why is this happening to me" to "how can I use this" is the end of unnecessary suffering. We are all part of a larger whole, a cosmopolis, as Marcus called it. He believed that what is bad for the hive is bad for the bee. When we act out of selfishness, anger, or greed, we are acting against our own nature as social beings, and that disharmony causes us to suffer. True peace comes from alignment with nature, with reason, and with our fellow humans. Marcus reminded himself daily that he was made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. To work against one another is contrary to nature. When we let go of our grudges and our sense of entitlement, the heavy burden of self begins to lighten.
We realize that we are just a small part of a vast, beautiful, and complex tapestry. As we look at the world today, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, but the wisdom of the Meditations reminds us that the external world hasn't changed its character in 2 millennia. There have always been wars, there have always been rumors of collapse, and there have always been people who suffer needlessly because they seek their happiness in the wrong places. Marcus Aurelius offers us a way out. He offers us the realization that our mind is our greatest tool and our only true possession. By disciplining our thoughts, by practicing gratitude, and by focusing only on what is within our control, we can walk through the fire without being burned. We can find a stillness that no external noise can break. The journey of the Stoic is not one of perfection, but of practice. Marcus didn't write his meditations to lecture us, he wrote them to remind himself when he forgot. He struggled just as we struggle. He felt tired, he felt frustrated, and he felt alone. But he kept coming back to the truth. And if Marcus Aurelius's wisdom has touched you today, don't let it fade. Carry it into your life, share it with others, and join us here at Wisdom of Stoic for more journeys into timeless philosophy. Subscribe, follow, and let's keep this conversation alive.